In the ancient city of Corinth reigned a rather cunning man. His name was Sisyphus. He was probably the smartest man of his time. The smartest, but not the wisest. Sisyphus was a direct descendant of Prometheus. This deity had the boldness to stick his nose into the matters of Zeus and paid a high price for the intromission. And, much like his ancestor, Sisyphus decided to interfere in the gods' affairs. He witnessed the kidnapping of the young and beautiful Aegina by the eagle-shaped Zeus, and he realized he could take advantage of it. Although he was king of a glorious city, this metropolis struggled with a shortage of drinking water. Young Aegina was the daughter of Sisyphus, a river god, who was deeply saddened by the disappearance of his daughter. Sisyphus went to Sisyphus and declared, "I know where your daughter is, but this information comes at a price. In return, I want you to create a spring of water to supply my kingdom." Sisyphus accepted Sisyphus's offer and created a spring of the purest mineral water. Sisyphus revealed to him what he knew, and Sisyphus went after his daughter. King Sisyphus was pleased. This new spring would be a source of abundance and even more prestige to his city. Zeus, the supreme lord of Olympus, was enraged by Sisyphus's revelation and ordered Thanatos, also known as Death, to find him and take his life. Some time passed before Sisyphus was surprised by seeing Thanatos in his palace, but an idea quickly sprung up in his cunning and mischievous mind. He went to Death and said, "So, it seems my time has come. I did not expect to die so young. However, I am much surprised by your splendor. Indeed, you are such a magnificent deity. You shall know that of the many gods I have known, few carry such a remarkable and elegant figure. And before I leave, I would like to present you with some ornaments that will make your presence even more dazzling. After all, these jewels will no longer be of use to me." Thanatos felt flattered with such a torrential stream of compliments and decided to accept the gifts. Sisyphus put a pair of silver bracelets and a necklace on Thanatos. However, those were shackles and a collar. The Corinthian king did what appeared impossible until that point. He managed to cheat Death, and Thanatos became his prisoner. Time passed, and no one died anymore. The kingdom of Hades was no longer receiving any new subjects. On the banks of the river Acheron, Charon had no more passengers to cross the waters. The wars set by the god Ares were no longer a source of pleasure for him, as nobody died. The enraged Ares traveled to Corinth. He knocked down the palace door and broke the chains that imprisoned Thanatos. Free, the god of the dead was absolutely sure of his first target, and started to search for King Sisyphus to complete the mission Zeus had handed him. But Sisyphus was expecting that. He told his wife that, if he died prematurely, she would not render the royal funeral services. Sisyphus delivered himself peacefully to Thanatos, who took his life. Charon was already waiting to lead him to the kingdom of Hades, the lord of the underworld. The banks of the river of the dead were filled with souls already on Thanatos' list, who only now had been sought. Upon arriving in the kingdom of Hades, he was face to face with the god of the underworld, who appeared quite unhappy. After being severely admonished by the great god, Sisyphus delivered a speech he had already devised, even before his death. "Noble lord of the underworld, I'm aware of my wrongdoings against you and the harm I've caused, but that was not my intention. If I had known that I would harm the great god of the world of the dead, I never would have done so. Aware that I am in debt to you, I have a plea to make. My obnoxious wife refused to perform the proper funeral rites for a king. who was so dear to his people. That abominable woman tossed me out, as if I were nothing but a dog carcass. I therefore beg you to let me return to the world of the living for only one day, so that I may take revenge on my wife and set up a proper funeral, which would honor the kingdom of the dead. You have my permission to visit in the world of the living for only one day. However, by nightfall you shall return to my domains." Sisyphus gave his word that he would return promptly. Sisyphus returned to Corinth. There he met his wife and fled with her. Once again, he had cheated death. Now concealed, Sisyphus lived a long life and reached an old age, until he encountered his inevitable end. And encountering Thanatos once more, his cleverness would no longer help him. Upon returning to the underworld, Hades sent him to Tartarus, where he received an appalling torment. Sisyphus was forced to roll a heavy boulder from a plain to a mountaintop, but every time he got close to the summit, the boulder became horrendously heavy and rolled back to the starting point. Then Sisyphus was condemned to restart his work for all eternity.